Hey boys and girls, it's Miss Escamilla. Today is Wednesday and I did not post a video yesterday. I just kind of ran out of time. But I was looking through your homework packet and there were a couple of things that kind of stood out to me that I thought I would kind of clarify a little bit more or kind of review, because I know we have talked about it in class before, just to kind of help you out a little bit. On one of the questions on number 8, I noticed that in the problem, it gives you the word form of a number, and then it asks you to find the number line in which a number line that represents the value of the digit in the hundreds place. I'm going to encourage you on this problem to make sure that you are right. If it gives you the word form of a number, I'm going to encourage you to write that number in standard form. Okay, so in this particular number, in this problem on number 8, it says that 8,851 and 8/10 is our number. I'm going to encourage you to write that number in standard form. Then you need to locate the digit in the hundreds place and tell me its value. What is it worth being in the hundreds place based on how many there are in the hundreds place? So be really careful that we are really taking our time and showing our work on our problems. Another thing I noticed is that on a few of the problems, on question number 4 and number 7 and on number 10, some of the answer choices involve expanded form and expanded notation of decimals, where they use the actual fractions instead of the decimals to show the expanded form and expanded notation. And so I know we did do this in class. I know we took really good notes on it in our journals, but I wanted to go through another example of how we could do this. So for example, if I gave you the decimal, let's say I gave you the decimal 36 and 48 hundredths, and I wanted to write that in expanded form. Okay, expanded form means that we are going to take the value of each digit based on the position that it's in and add up those values. So the 3 is in the tens place, so I know that it is worth 30 because 3 tens equals 30. Plus my 6 is in the ones place, so it's just worth 6. Plus my 4 is in the tenths place, so it's just worth 4/10. And my 8 is in the hundredths place, therefore it is worth 8/100ths. So that's our expanded form, okay? However, when you get to these two decimals over here, we talked about and we learned in class that those decimals relate to fractions as well. So 4/10 is a decimal for the fraction 4/10, and 8/100 is the decimal for the fraction 8/100. So if I were to rewrite this in expanded form and using the fractions, it would look like this instead. So 30 is a whole number, so 30 would remain the same. 6 is a whole number, not a fraction, so it would remain the same. Okay, but this decimal right here, we would read it as 4/10, and as a fraction, 4/10 would have a 4 on the top of the fraction bar and a 10 on the bottom of the fraction bar. 4 out of 10, 4/10. Plus, this decimal, we would read it as 8/100. So we would put an 8 on top of our fraction bar and 100 underneath our fraction bar. So this would be 8 out of 100, or we would read this as 8/100. Okay, so keep that in mind as you're doing your work. Think about the fractions that relate to the decimals. So that's expanded form. Okay, let's take a look at the expanded notation of our number. Expanded notation. Okay, we're going to take the same number, and then rather than showing the expanded form, we're going to show expanded notation. Expanded notation is when you were looking at how many of each you have in each position. So for example, in the tens place, I noticed that we have 3. That means we have 3 tens. Therefore, the expanded notation would be 3 times 10 plus, because we have a 3 in the tens place, 3 times 10. There's a 6 in the ones place. We have 6 ones. So that would represent 6 times 1 plus 4 is in the tenths place. We have 4 tenths. Therefore, it would look like 4 times 1 tenth. Plus, we have an 8 in the hundredths place. We have 8 hundredths. That would be 8 times 100. Okay, so that's our expanded notation. We're taking however many we have in that position times the value of that position. So if that's the tens place, its value would be 10. This is the ones place, its value is 1. This is the tenths place, it's the value of one of those in that place is 1/10. This is the hundredths place, the value of 1 in that place is 100. Okay, now, however, I noticed that in your packet, we see fractions, okay? So we want to make sure that we also can write this expanded notation using the fractions that relate to those decimals right there. So if we were to do that, this wouldn't change. Okay, the 3 is in the tens place. That represents a whole number. So 3 times 10 would remain the same. The 6 is in the ones place. That's a whole number. So 6 times 1 would remain the same. This is where it would change a little bit. That 4 is in the tenths place. So we would say we have 4 tenths, which would be 4 times 1/10. Okay? And then we have an 8 in the hundredths place. Therefore, we would say we have 8 hundredths, which would look like this. 8 times 100th, 100. Okay? So, when you're doing your homework, make sure that you are thinking about the fractions that relate to the decimals. Okay? If you have any questions, shoot me an email. There probably won't be a video tomorrow because I won't be here tomorrow. Tomorrow is Thursday. But I will check my email. So if you get stuck on anything, just go ahead and email me and I'll still get back to you. And remember that this packet is due on Friday, the 22nd. So make sure that you have it all done and ready to turn in on Friday. Good luck.